Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Synced Up Equipment Basics. My name is Kyle, and today we're going to be going over one of the fundamental moves on flag known as a drop spin. Feel free to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell icon down below so you can be notified with any of our future uploads. Now let's get into spinning a flag. So before we get into how to do a drop spin, I first want to go over what a drop spin is. And essentially a drop spin on flag is a continuous circular motion of the flag as it's passing between both of your hands. This type of exercise really helps you teach control of timing, control of your equipment, and doing that while maintaining proper body alignment. If you haven't seen our previous video on basics of a flag and basic holding positions, I would really recommend going to watch that because a lot of the terminology I have explained in that video will be addressed in this video. So we're going to start off with right drop spins, and to begin, we're going to start in our right center position. Quick reminder, this is my right hand on my tab and my left hand splitting the center of the silk with my elbows boxed out and my posture nice and lifted. To start, I'm going to first initiate by pulling that top hand out to the side to create this angle shape with my flag. This isn't a stopping position, it is a pass-through position, but I'm stopping here so you can just see that we create this angle first by pulling that left hand out. Notice my right hand did not move side to side or up and down. All it did was just twist at the wrist to allow the silk to fall into this angle position. After I pull, my left hand is going to go down to my side and my flag is going to use that momentum to continue rotating. I allow that to happen by the twist of my wrist and I bring it all the way down to the other vertical position, this time with the silk down and the pull up. Once I reach this position, that left hand or whichever hand pulled the flag at the beginning is going to reach underneath the hand that's on the flag and grab thumb facing down. So if you'll notice, both my thumbs right now are facing down towards the silk. My hands are splitting the tab, so the one that was on top is grabbed at the tab below the silk, and the one that just grabbed is grabbing just above the tab on the silk. So we're splitting that middle position of the flag right now. So from that first drop spin position, both my thumbs are down right now. What I'm gonna do from here is I'm gonna take that right hand off, or the top hand. I'm gonna take it off and let go. I'm not gonna fully bring it away. It's gonna still stay in that area, but I'm just gonna open my hand so that way the pole can continue rotating in the same direction it was going. But this time my other hand is the one that's allowing the wrist to rotate, which allows the silk to start coming back up. Once that happens, I'm gonna bring that top hand around to grab underneath the other hand that is currently pulling up the flag. But again, both my thumbs are facing up, and you'll notice that's a common motif in this. You want to make sure you always have your thumbs facing towards the silk in this drop spin. So again, I was in this first drop spin right here. My left hand is below my right hand and both my thumbs are facing up. I'm going to take that top hand and I'm going to let go of the flag. I'm going to allow the silk to rotate around, bring that top hand around and underneath to grab thumbs towards the silk under the left hand. Every time you grab on a drop spin, it's always going to be underneath the hand that currently has the pull. So now that we have an understanding of how to do two basic drop spins, I want to talk about how to continue them. So essentially all you have to do is just repeat the pattern. Dropping it down, grabbing that backhand, reaching around, grabbing again. As you do that, you want to make sure that your thumbs always face up towards the silk, yeah? So when we start, I pull that flag out to the side, I'm re-grabbing underneath, thumbs facing towards the silk, I'm re-grabbing underneath, thumbs facing towards the silk. From here, I will just repeat that process to go down, re-grab, and up, re-grab. As you're practicing this, feel free to stop in each of the positions and just double check and make sure that your hand placement is correct. So you want to always make sure that you're splitting the center of the flag and your thumbs are facing towards the silk every single time. Along with this, as you're breaking this down, these continuous spins, make sure that your hands stay in line with your belly button the entire time. We want to be careful not to rise the flag up and down or let our elbows rise up and down as we go through, and we want to be careful not to bring it to the sides of our body as we go through these spins. We want to keep them in the center of our body and just have the flag rotate around that central point of our hands switching. So again, we want to make sure our hands are facing the correct way, thumbs are going down towards the silk, and the flag stays in one spot as it rotates around that center point. So now to do the flag drop spins on the left side, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch to my left center with my left hand at my tab and my right hand splitting the pull. First, I initiate by pulling that top hand to the side. Once I do that, I allow the momentum to continue. I bring that free hand down as the flag starts to drop, and then I bring it in to grab, thumbs facing towards the silk when it reaches the bottom. From here, I let go with the top hand. I continue the motion around the side of my body, bring that top hand around to go underneath and grab under the hand that has the pull. So it's the same exact approach as right side, again, just my hands are flipped. So when you're doing drop spins by themselves and you're not doing a specific technique exercise with its own sequence or structure to it, you can really do as many drop spins as you'd like. So when you're doing drop spins and you pull down, grabbing count 1 is one drop spin and grabbing up count 2 is another drop spin. So 1 and then 2. So really you can do 8 counts of them, you can do 16, 32, 100, however many you want to do to build that consistency and strength over time. But once you finish your drop spins, we have a stopping position as well, and I want to go over that real quick. So we're going to pretend like we're going to do 8 drop spins for this one. So I pull on count 8 and I go down 1, up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So whenever I get to that count to where I want to stop, which is count 8, I'm going to slide that top hand, which is my left hand currently because I'm doing right drop spins, up to that middle position of that right center that we started at. So I'm here on count 7 with my hands facing down towards the silk, my thumbs are down, and my left hand is underneath my right hand. I'm gonna let go with my right hand as I pull up into count 8. When I grab with my right hand, I'm gonna slide that left hand quick and with strong energy up to that splitting position to stop my flag. So that's how I'm gonna stop a rotation, and then from there, I can either switch my hands to go to the other side and do left drop spins, or I can count myself off again and do the drop spins again. So let me just give you a quick demo of how to stop it with 8 counts. We'll pull 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and stop. So just using that strong energy to stop the motion, and then again, you can either count yourself off again or switch it to the other side. Awesome, so now that we have an even better understanding of our drop spins, I wanna go into a little bit of detail of the subdivision and the angles that you'll see your flag in at each count. So whenever we're doing a drop spin, you're gonna pull down, you'll be grabbing at the low space on count 1, and you'll be grabbing in the up space on count 2. So your silk will be down on the odd counts and your silk will be up on the even counts. Now, obviously there are some exercises out there where this may vary, but as a general and kind of standard usually, you'll see drop spins go down on count 1 and up on count 2. So that means that there are subdivisions and subcounts in there as well. So when I first start in this right center position, I'm gonna pull on count 8 and. 8 and is when I see this angle right here. This is the only time I'm gonna see this angle. It's just an initiating count. So I'm gonna see this on count 8 and then every other spin is gonna be a little bit different. From here, my flag's gonna drop and I'm gonna grab at the pure vertical straight up and down on count 1. From here, we're moving into count 2, but we wanna make sure on count 1 and we see a flat position. This is count 1 and before we pull up to count 2. Afterwards, count 2 and before going down to 3 is also going to be flat. So remember, when I pulled on that count 8 and at the beginning, I said this is the only time you'll see it. When you're doing your drop spins, every in-between count of the whole counts will have the flag at a flat position. So it's always going to be up, flat, down, and flat as you go through. So just make sure as you go through 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and however many you want to do, you're always passing through those flats. Down, flat, up, flat, and down, flat, up, flat. And be careful, whenever you're trying to break down these, it's okay to kind of stop in between each of those angles. But when you're doing a continuous spin and you're trying to do it full out, you want to pass through those positions, but still keep it a smooth motion as you go through. So it's passing through that flat or vertical on the and counts or whole counts, but I'm not stopping at each of those positions and making it look too robotic. So you may have noticed as you're doing continuous drop spins that your flag starts to twist and roll up on itself over time. And then after a few spins, you're losing parts of your tail and your fabric over time. So I'm gonna tell you a couple things to do to avoid that. Before we talk about how to do it in the spin, I first want to talk a little bit about the silk, just so we can get on the same page about this. This section of the flag right here that connects to the pole, I'm going to call this the pillowcase for a second. So there are two sides to the pillowcase I want you to know. There's the side of the pillowcase that is just smooth and it's just the fabric wrapping over the top of the pole. And then there's the side of the pillowcase that has the seam. Just double check your flag, take a look at it right now, and make sure that you can see both of these sides. Whenever you are grabbing in the silk for your drop spin, so whichever hand grabs the silk, you want to always make sure you grab on the side of the pillowcase that doesn't have the seam. If you grab the side of the seam, then you'll twist your flag over, and then that motion will continue, and then over time it'll roll up your flag. So you want to avoid that. So again, we have the side of the pillowcase that's smooth and the side with the seam. Always grab the side that's smooth. When you're doing your spin itself, I know I talked about wrist rotation. That does not mean pushing your wrist forward and rotating at the same time. That causes whatever is in your hand to spiral, which will then cause your flag to spiral and roll up over time. I want to try and keep my wrist neutral as I'm twisting it and going through my spins. If I push that wrist forward, and then again grab with my wrist forward and then pull it back up into that neutral space and just continue this over twisting motion with both of my hands, that's gonna cause my flag to roll up. So be careful not to allow your wrist to flex in this motion. It's only flexing side to side like so. So seeing that in the flag, I'll do a side profile for you. It would look like this, where I over twist that wrist to here and then grab and then over twist that wrist again. And if I continue that motion, my flag will roll up over time. So just be careful that you try and keep your wrist as neutral as possible and that you try and make sure to grab on the smooth side of the pillowcase. The next thing I want to talk about is something that is super crucial to a lot of what we do in color guard, and you're going to hear this term a lot, so it's important that we talk about it. And it's called the toaster. So essentially what the toaster is how we understand our planes a little bit better. So I want you to imagine as you're doing these spins, I'll do them from the side right here. I want you to imagine that you are in a toaster oven right now as you do your spins. So there's a grill on the front of you and a grill on the back side of you. You want to be careful not to hit that grill with your flag. If you do, then that's not good for us, right? So you always want to make sure you're staying in your toaster. Imagine you're that piece of toast or your flag is that piece of toast and it's staying flat up against the grills on each side of you. Essentially, it's just parallel to the wall in front of you. So whenever someone mentions, hey, make sure you stay in your toaster for this, you want to always make sure that you're flat to the front and you're not allowing your flag to open up at any 45s or some weird angles or anything like that. So just double check, use a friend or use a mirror or something to double check and make sure that you're staying in that toaster and you're staying flat to the front and between those two grills. So to review everything we've talked about today, we discussed how to do drop spins. We went over the starting position of that right or left center. We went over the initiation of a spin and how to continue the spin as we switch between our hands, always making sure that in every switch, we see our thumbs facing up towards the silk. Afterwards, we went over how to stop the flag and then reinitiate if we'd like to, or switch it to the other side. Following that, we discussed certain things as wrist rotation, ensuring that we don't roll up the flag over time. We also talked about the toaster, making sure we keep flat in our plane. And we also talked about angles, subdivision, and our body alignment overall. So a lot of things we discussed today, but overall we should have a decent understanding of some of the basics that go into the exercise of a drop spin. Great job learning the first steps of how to spin a flag today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and found it super helpful. And if you did, please consider liking and comment down below any questions you may have. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.